Hello fellow Taker, Space Bandit here with another episode of WOT Tanks, and today I bring you a game in my T110E5 Tier 10 American heavy tank. So I'm gonna try to make sure that this video is not too salty per se, but after getting back into the game after 2 weeks, it hasn't been very pleasant, to be honest, guys. Now, I played on a Friday evening, and there seemed to be quite a lot of good players in the game on that night, so maybe that was part of it, because it was not easy to get the damage that I needed in some of the games. But the biggest issue for me, I think, was RNG. RNG was shit. It was so bad, I don't understand. I can't remember the last time I had RNG like this. And if Wargaming is treating players that are coming back to the game and throwing them into RNG like this, it's absolutely pathetic, because T110E5 is a fantastic machine all around there. The gun is fairly accurate too, but in my games, this gun was hitting maybe only 60% of long distance shots. So when I played this game and a bunch of other games, I was really frustrated with what was going on as far as RNG is concerned. So my gameplay wasn't probably the greatest, although partly I can attribute this to rust and me being really rusty. So look at this lag, beautiful lag. That should have been a hit, but it wasn't. But yeah, for the most part, I think I can attribute this to rust. Anyway, let's jump into this gameplay and you'll see what happened in here. So I have these two guys actually pushing me right now, so I decided to drop. Now I do have a heavy tank that's coming up. It's an E100, but see what I'm doing here. T110E5 is an awesome machine. It has a really good armor, but you have to wiggle that armor all the time, because one big gaping weak spot on this tank is the cupola, although it's not always as it seems, and you'll see, I'll show you later on what I'm talking about when it comes to that, because there will be an instance in this game where I actually tried a cupola shot on the T110E5 that I was facing and I bounced, but I'll show you where were people penetrating me. Here unfortunately I ran into E100 shot, and yeah, that's not the best thing to do, especially if your teammates are trying to help you. So yeah, it's partly fault on my side, and yeah, after a long layoff, things like this will happen, guys, and I found it rust is definitely a factor in this game. Anyway, so this is the assault mode. Basically, we need to capture enemy base in this map, and actually this access point on this side of the map is pretty good, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to use my mobility, try to use this access point on this side of the map and push the fight to the opposition. I'm a top tier, I have some armor, so I need to push and be the frontline brawler, right? So that's what I'm trying to do here. Now I'm gonna live dangerously because of that. I'm gonna have tanks on my left, tanks on my right, but I will continue pushing to that hill over here in front of me. That will give me some protection from the left side and from the right side. Now I realized that there is T110E5 on the bottom, and he's engaging one of our heavy tanks, but unfortunately my friendly gets taken out. So I'm looking for a shot at him here, trying to hit his lower plate, the armpit area, closer to the truck, but for whatever reason that misses or bounces, and I think that's because of the angle. So I decided to shoot him in the top plate instead, and that shot penetrates. Now we're gonna try to do the same thing. I'll try to hit him in the top plate, but unfortunately that shot hits the ground. So here I'm gonna isolate him. I'm gonna try to do 1v1, because these guys that are behind the hill behind me, I think they're just busy there fighting my E100, so this is perfect opportunity to create 1v1 with this guy, and since I had more health than him, I thought that was the best thing to do. Now I'm gonna try to wiggle my tank as much as possible, just trying to bounce his shells the best I can. He seems to be a decent player, he knows how to penetrate me anyway, and I scuffed a bunch of my shots just because of rust, pretty much. So anyway, I try to get closer to him here. He changes attention to my light tank, and look at this shot. That's crazy. And that's RNG. I mean, I'm shooting AP round into his track. That should have tracked him and penetrated him, but it doesn't. So we're gonna try to put another shot into his track here. That goes in right where it needs to go. Now he manages to break my gun, and I didn't realize. I was trying to fire here. I'm like, what is going on? And then, yeah, I did this because I was hitting my fire button all the time because I wasn't paying attention. And here, the Capola shot. You see this? That didn't penetrate. Now, if you hit that Capola right in the middle, it's not going to penetrate. I'm going to show you footage at the end of the game. Some clips from my games showing where I get hit by the opposition, and you will see where they're actually penning me. So I got a little bit smarter later on, and I knew exactly where to pen. Now, this IS-7 is busy looking at my light tank, so I'm going to put a shell into him. But unfortunately, I lost way too much health engaging this T110E5. I could have handled it better. Now this shot here, that would have never penned. Again, impatience. So, anyway, I'm going to try to get myself in a position here so I can side scrape. I know this IS-7 is going to come after me. The game is really, really close, and I was thinking to myself, wow, I have decent damage already. If one of the green tanks can actually help me, I could have done so much more here still, using my armor, but unfortunately my light tank runs off. I wish he would have stayed and helped me here. So, we managed to track this IS-7, and we bounce his shell. Because I have heat rolled it, IS-7 track absorbs the shell. And here I'm going to try to wiggle as much as I can, but I don't know how. He pens me. And he takes me out of the game. And you'll see later on, I'll show you the clip. I don't know whether it was a lucky shot or not. I think it was lucky. I think he was auto-aiming. And he basically auto-aimed at my turret ring, or close to my turret ring. And since my turret was angled by about 45 degrees, and he moved forward, he created that angle. Unfortunately, instead of moving my turret and facing his turret, my turret was kind of stationary in one spot, and he manages to put a shell into me, and he takes me out. So I switched over to this LTTB, and when I noticed he can't even penetrate the Borsig, I was like, okay, well, these are the kind of players that are on my team. And on Friday, I was in too many of those games, too many. But yeah, lessons learned from this game. Well, first of all, lots and lots of impatience. I was rushing my shots instead of waiting for the right opportunities. Although in some cases I did wait, but I think this was a result of the stupid RNG that I had that night, and it just ticked me off. And if you let the game get to you guys, that's what's gonna happen. And I noticed when I let the game get to me, that I make stupid mistakes, I rush my shots, I just don't play the game properly, the way I should be playing. Anyway, we still got pretty decent result in this game. We're sitting at about 5.7k damage, but this could have been so much better. If the light tank decided to stick around and just, you know, was distracting the IS-7, I could have been putting more shells into that guy. T110E5, even at low health, has enough armor to carry all the way to the end of the game. So here Artie gets taken out, and that's gonna conclude our game, and our team lost miserably. Question remains, where was my team? It was non-existent. Now another thing I want to bring up in this video. For this kind of game, I got Class 3 Mastery. Class 3 Mastery with 5.7k damage, 4.6k damage blocked. How is it Class 3? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. And I will show you end screens from some of my earlier games, and you will see what I'm talking about here. Okay, game number 1. Class 2. 2.3, almost 2.4k damage, 2.7 assisted damage. Okay, 5k combined, I get this. Class 2. Makes sense, okay? Next game. 2.3k damage, 950 assisted, 1700 blocked. Class 2. How is that possible? How is this Class 2 and my game that I just showed you guys is Class 3? Makes no sense. Next game. Class 2. 3.2k damage, 910 assisted, 1200 blocked. Again, Class 2, not Class 3. This is mind-boggling. Really mind-boggling, guys. I don't know what the hell is going on with mastery badges. Now, next game. 3k damage, 1500 blocked. Class 3. Does that make any sense? That the other games were class 2, except maybe for the first one, and this one is class 3? Again, makes no sense to me whatsoever. Next game. 4k damage, 700 assisted. Class 3. Again, makes no sense. Makes no sense whatsoever. I don't understand these badges anymore. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. You guys explain it to me. But this game deserved to be more than just class 3. I think it was at least deserving class 1. Definitely not ace tanker, but class 1. Anyway, we fired 25 shells. We had 21 direct hits and 14 penetrations. Pretty good game. Unfortunately, a loss. Now here I'm going to show you where to penetrate the cupola of the E5 and where people were penetrating me. And here you're gonna see I'm full health and I'm gonna get double shelled. First by the E4 in the corner over there, and then by this Jagdpanzer E100. And they both gonna hit my cupola. And I was in pretty good position here. These guys knew exactly what they were doing. So I get taken out here, and in a split second here you're gonna see where the penetration marks are. Take a look right here. It's right at the bottom of the cupola. So that ring all the way around the bottom of the cupola, and it stretches to the right side also. It's very, very weak. Now here's another clip, and this is actually butt shot penetrating me. Here, take a look at this. The ring underneath the rounded part of the cupola and on the right side of the cupola. So yeah, I was facing some really good players that day, and they managed to penetrate me at will. Alright. Now let's take a look at where IS-7 penetrated me. So as you notice here, he created the 45-degree angle. If my turret was facing his turret, I wouldn't have gotten taken out here. But unfortunately, because my turret was facing forward, he created that angle. And even though he was firing APCR rounds, he could have probably penned me with AP rounds in a turret ring. Now, I don't know whether this was auto-aim shot again. I presume it was. But maybe he was just a good player. I don't know. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. That's it for now. Until next time, happy tanking. Space Bandit, checking out.